The historic East Cobb Baseball Complex is the site of the perfect game 11U SelectFest. We'll introduce you to some incredible young talent all game long as Team East takes on Team West. Alongside former big leaguer Micah Owings, I'm Brett Dolan. Delighted to have you with us. Micah, you think about the future of this game. It is bright when you watch these 28 young men, 11 years old, prepare for this weekend in this game.
Oh, very bright. And we had an amazing night last night, dinner ceremony, awards banquet, and then back out here today. Turf fields, a little warm down there, but you can tell the kids are having a lot of fun.
Well, let's introduce you to a couple of players, including our PG 11U Player of the Year, Tyler Early. He's a Houston kid, a two-way star, and he is a tremendous package of tools.
He's representing my East here. I heard he's dynamic on both sides, very athletic. Klesko said yesterday he was hitting bombs of like 350 feet.
He goes by Spider-Man, no surprise. He's an Aaron Judge fan with that power. Now, the man he is going to face is the opposing starting pitcher, another Texan, Christian Choe.
Yeah, Choe also was told he loves his fastball. His secondary got a curveball. And then he's going to try to throw a sinker some today, too.
He's a Shohei Ohtani fan. You see him wearing number 17. He'll be on the hill as well for Team West. We're ready to crank this one up. Our perfect game, 11. The Perfect Game Select Festival is brought to you by Perfect Game and by New Balance Baseball, proud partner of the Dick's Sporting Goods Perfect Game All-American Classic, and by G-Form, the most comfortable protective guards in all of baseball, because the best never settles for less. G-Form, go next level. And by Launch Hydrate, win the moment. Welcome back to Marietta, Georgia, the East Cobb Complex, our 11U Perfect Game Select Fest here in 2023. And let's take a look at our starting lineups for the East team. They are brought to you by Yeti, built for the wild. Keep in mind, everybody bats, everybody plays. You're going to see 14 players. We're going to start it off with Soberall Jr., the Offensive Player of the Year, the Overall Player of the Year, Tyler Early, Christopher Cabrera, the son of Miguel Cabrera, and Junior Cordero, just the top four. Then it's Davis, Marichal, Brian Johnson Jr., Zaylen Johnson, Miguel Jimenez, Osterman, McCrory, Spray Jr., Roa, and Albury Jr. A lot of extra hitters, Micah, but that's the way we like it, getting these kids in this lineup and in this game.
Absolutely. I think it's great. Everybody play. That's old school.
Take a look at our first pitcher again. It's Christian Choe. His velocity is right around the mid-70s, but a young man who didn't really take to sports early. Been part of some jiu-jitsu training, and an exciting young pitcher. And again, as we mentioned in our open, he is the pitcher of the year as well.
That kid is big. That's a big boy.
We watched the home run derby beforehand. These kids took BP early this morning. Sometimes you have to remind yourselves that they are 11 years old. And this is the defense. It will change from time to time, but you'll get a good look early at what it may look like with Kennedy, George, and Hainan out of the outfield. We'll mix up these catchers as well because it is a warm one behind the plate.
It is, but it's changed quite a bit. They didn't have this 4-pack back in, Nam, what I'd call it, when I played here. We had the two fields up top, and that's where we played.
It is turf here at East Cobb. We'll be back here tomorrow for the 12U Perfect Game Select Fest. Excited to see Christian Choe. He goes by Panda from Bedford, Texas. Ready to begin things. It has been a crazy year for him, just playing PG events. He was at the PG World Series in Atlanta, went to PGI in South Haven, Mississippi, went on a family vacation to Vail, Colorado, where he also played in another event in a World Series. So for a lot of these young men, this kind of caps the end of what has been a very busy summer.
Sounds like a very busy one, and you know what? I think some of them are getting to miss school right now.
They might do. Can't beat that. Maybe some football practice. Jesse Soberall goes by Godzilla. He steps in to begin things. And we're underway.
Show him early.
Soberall is from New York. He's a Barry Bonds fan, an Aaron Judge fan, and Miguel Cabrera fan.
So I'm taking BP's really quiet stance, straight to the ball.
Keep in mind he was our PG Offensive Player of the Year. Good pitch from Choe right in there for a strike.
Ball, 2 strikes.
Firm. Got some heat on it.
He was wondering about maybe an approach, a scouting report on how to face these hitters.
That's right. They're telling us in the dugout, which tells me he's trying to plan. Obviously, approach to the game, try to be prepared.
No weakness in this lineup. He runs one just a little bit off that outside corner. He thought he had strike 3.
Pretty close. But the thing about the just all.
You'd want that pitch.
I'd take it all day long.
Next one's fouled back and out of play.
Two and two.
Soberall, homeschooled in the Bronx, played for the Banditos. And Choe's going to paint at the knees for strike 3. A little bit of hesitation with that leg lift, and then just painted at the bottom of the zone.
Early.
Great pitch.
Get our first chance to see Tyler Early, another Banditos product. Houston kid takes strike 1. With these 28 young men, we see players from California. We had a couple of players from New York. We got some Texans, of course, all across this country.
Reminder, two-way guys right here.
Boy, that is the fun part. And keep in mind, we'll see a lot of these position players pitch and vice versa, but we've loaded the top of the lineup with these outstanding young men. Tyler Early someday would love to go to LSU. Quite an imposing figure in that box, and the pitch from Choe misses.
We won't talk about LSU. You're talking to a Tulane guy right now.
These kids, they can hop on the old iPad or phone or television and watch the top teams in the country, and when you win a national championship, you might catch the attention of an 11 or a 12-year-old, or for that matter, somebody maybe even a little bit older than that. We were at the Perfect Game National Showcase at your old stomping grounds, Chase Field in Phoenix, and LSU must have had 12, 13 players there. Jay Johnson was there watching all of his potential future players, knowing that he might lose some to the draft. And who knows how this is going to shake out. But I got a feeling, Micah, we're going to be talking about a lot of these young men for years and years to come.
Definitely agree. And just, again, the size of most of these guys, and just seeing the show they put on a BP and infield, outfield, quality, a lot of talent.
And that's ball 4. Our game's first base runner, Tyler Early, will draw the walk against his counterpart, Christian Choe.
Now batting, third baseman, Christopher Cabrera.
Well, even when he misses, Micah, he's not been far off the plate.
Maybe down. Quality pitch.
Christopher Cabrera, next man in, out of Miami. And Dad isn't here because he's playing with the Tigers today, of course, at Fenway Park. Now, the game starts at 4 o'clock, so maybe Miguel, future Hall of Famer, future first ballot Hall of Famers tuning in on perfectgame.tv. Next year, though, he gets a chance to be Dad when he retires and he can follow his son around.
For sure. And, I mean, Miggy, for me, is a Hall of Famer. I faced him when he was with the Marlins, and, wow, what a tough out. Talking about one of the best power hitters forever in the game.
Just an amazing career. It's hard to go out on your own terms. Only the great ones really get a chance to do so. And for Miguel, I know he's probably anxious to be able to beat events like this.
Next year, right?
Indeed. I liked it when Christopher talked about the people that inspire him. He said, my mom, my dad, and then he threw in Ronald Acuna Jr. That's not a bad trio.
Quality trio right there.
Also a straight A student, so many tremendous young men. And young students, something that Flash Gordon and Ryan Klesko and yourself had a chance to talk to these players about, whether at the banquet, during some of these events. Didn't want to make contact there. Picked up by Choe, and he's going to get the out at first base, retiring Cabrera as Early takes second.
Now batting junior Cordero.
Yeah, you know what I liked yesterday is what Mookie said about encouraging the play.
The case may be. For many, though, at this level, I mean, some have been to Taiwan, some have been to Mexico, they've been to South Haven, they've been to Atlanta. Certainly keeping very busy, and this is junior Cordero from Boca Raton, Florida. His father's junior, so that might make him junior. I'm not sure. We'll call him JJ.
Don't you start throwing in a number there?
That ball's hit out to center, and it is going to be put away and caught by George to end the inning. So Christian Choe has a hitless and scoreless top of the first. We're off and rolling at the PG 11U Select Festival. Well, the West team ready to bat here in the bottom of the first of this 7-inning game, our PG 11U Select Festival. And our starting lineup for the West is brought to you by G-Form, the most comfortable protective guards in all of We just saw Tyler Early take a walk. Now we'll see this lanky lefty on the mound.
So far, looks like he's got a lot of late life.
I mean, we're still not on the regulation field just yet, so
Worry about Osterman. Randomly sat at the table last night. I played with his uncle when I was their age, this age.
you know, I saw Klesko doing the same thing. He was running into people maybe he played against in high school, you know, we're talking about, I don't know, 30 years ago?
We're not talking about that.
A long time ago. And this is Boston Targac. Another Texan, another Bandito. His father, Matt, was drafted by the Braves, had 5 pro seasons. Also got a brother, Titan. That's a great baseball name, Titan Targac, who's an A&M baseball commit. Ryan, his cousin, played for the Fighting Aggies.
It's my guy, Schlossnagel.
That slow windup from Early, and his pitch a little bit outside to Boston Targac.
It's a little quick right now. I'd be a little amped up too.
Yeah, there's a lot of anticipation that builds up to this event. It is an honor to be one of the top 28 11U players in the country. We've had some coming from Taiwan. We've had others that have been all around the country, sometimes weeks at a time. I think this has been the goal for a lot, to kind of cap their summer off before they jump into the fall or whatnot.
I could see why. This would be a big-time goal for me in the summer. There you go. Good pitch.
Next pitch, sprayed foul down the line and right.
Starting to settle in. The first 3, not even close. Those next 3, he's pumping.
Keep in mind, he batted. He was on base in the top of this inning. Now, maybe not your normal warm-up type routine. And he misses and walks Targac to begin the bottom of the first. Choe walked early in the top of this inning. You talk about the best facing the best right out of the gates, whether it's on the mound, in the box, or both.
Think they have side bets on this, two-way guys?
I mean, you were a two-way guy before it was maybe popularized by some of the players, whether it's Ohtani and others in recent years. And you were a pitcher back in the National League days where if you could bat, you could hit for yourself, you could pinch hit, stay in the game. It really provided some extra versatility.
Yeah, I was fortunate to have those opportunities. I came out of college, you know, a year and a half, and I was in the league. And then Bowen, when I was in Arizona, using me as a pinch hitter. And then when I got traded to Cincinnati, Dusty Baker did the same thing. So I just fortunate to have those opportunities and get to the league quick, so I was still fresher with the bat.
Yeah, there's no doubt, right? Before you have to spend too much time pitching, you don't get to face as much live pitching. That's a wave and a miss by Choe.
But you know, in A-ball, when I first signed, they kicked me out of the cage. They wouldn't let pitchers hit.
Shows you how far we've come, right? I mean, whether it's high school, college now, and minor leagues, major leagues, there's some extra value for those two-way players. Snap throw back down to first, not in time.
Well, I'm probably biased, but I would think overall history, the best players in the game were always two-way players. Your shortstop and pitcher, your center fielder can pitch.
No doubt. Now that you're a high school head coach, you realize that, you know, you have to manage the pitchers and then they're throwing, and there's a lot that comes with that. And I think these youth ball coaches are doing the same thing. When you do get into a week or a weekend where you're playing 6 or 7 games, trying to manage your best players and, of course, those pitch counts.
And I'm huge on that. Chris Carpenter, my mentor my whole career, he's our pitching coach there. We're big on keeping pitch counts, you know, under wraps and making sure the kids aren't taxed too much.
Good pitch for strike 3. Christian Choe down looking. Tyler Early with the K. And now it's time for our Turtle Box. Game break. Turtle Box, the loudest, truly portable, waterproof Bluetooth speaker on the market. Ready for anything? Let's check in with our third member, Cameron Walker.
Hey guys, it is hot down here. I'm here with Walker McCoy's mother, Ashley McCroy. Fans are out, hair's up, and the heat is on. My phone said 86 degrees. It's got to be hotter than that. Ashley, when did you know you needed to bring these fans out here?
We've been in the Georgia heat before. We've been to East Cobb, so we came prepared this time.
The McCroys are prepared.
We've done this a few times.
But this is your first time at SelectFest?
Yes, for SelectFest, definitely. We're very excited. It's been awesome.
What has Walker been looking forward to most, do you think?
I think seeing these other guys, playing with them, the coaches, just the experience, hanging out, Players Lounge, has been really fun.
Well, I'm going to hang out with you and these fans for a little bit.
Take that one portable.
Thank you so much. Stay cool up there, guys.
Well, we are cool. We're in the air conditioning. Thank goodness Micah had to sacrifice a shirt early, and that one goes to the backstop after a stolen base, and Targac is at third. Now, it may say 87, but the feels like is 98, and you know all about the Georgia heat and humidity.
Definitely, and I did have to change undershirts already once, maybe again in a bit. Feel your pain, Cameron.
It's the stolen base and wild pitch. I enjoyed the conversation, though, with Mom about what her son is looking forward to most, and that one's outside. I think she struck on everything. It's the ping pong tables and the video games. That's one. It's the overall experience, but it's also testing yourself against these other players. Kind of see how you stack up against the best.
Yeah, and I think that maybe was one of the first things she said was seeing the guys, being with guys from all over the country, the best in the country.
Leyland Henry drew the walk, so didn't get a chance to fully introduce you to Henry, but we will. Big Drew won a couple of gold medals this year. And there's runners on the corners for Martin Gomez. So a chance to do some early damage. California native is Gomez from MVP Hustle.
Just been quick to the plate, making him a little bit erratic.
He'd like to have that one back. Henry moved down to second as Targac came across. Oh, yeah! It's a lot to handle for Marichal behind the plate.
Targac got 2 bags there, didn't he?
He got one, advanced on a wild pitch to third, and continued his process. How about Henry trying to go to third? He's going to get in there with the stolen base.
Henry's one of my picks today.
Young man who qualified for the Junior Olympics with the shot put, showing you he can also pick him up and put him down. Speaking of that, Gomez, he comes from an athletic family as well. His dad, Martin, was a pole vaulter. Mom's a runner. Son's a swinger. He likes to hit. Batting cleanup for this West team, trying to get the first RBI, even though we've seen a run, and that is ball 4. So early got the K to Christian Choe, but he's walked Henry and Gomez.
Kingston,
And early,
George.
I believe, is the only pitcher right now scheduled to go 2 innings. He was going to go the first and second. So Ryan Klesko is going to come out to the mound to try and calm him down and get him back on track.
Yeah, and you said earlier, these guys have had a long, long summer. So, try to get him through this one and see how he feels, maybe send him back out. But, at this point in the season, too, you've got to take care of these guys.
See the resume from Ryan Klesko. Certainly no stranger to this area. And I'm watching him this week with the kids, Micah. I know you're doing the same thing. He likes coaching. He likes talking to these young men.
Yes, he does, and he's one of the best. I got to face him, 07. I was a rookie. We won't talk about details maybe later. And I think he told me today it was his last year, 07. That was my rookie year.
He's got a son. He was throwing BP2 when I walked in this morning. There you see the young man overflowing out of that dugout. Kingston George, by the way, put on a show in BP today, and he fouls one out of play. We're talking about a field, Micah, where it's 265 to center with a high fence. And Kingston George was making it look small with the balls he was hitting into the trees, over the lights, and to the top of the trees.
We got power lines back there he was hitting. I saw a couple of them go right off it. That first hack was healthy.
Throw down to second is going to end up squirting away. Henry, though, got caught between home and third. Can they get it out? It is early the pitcher. I'm not sure that throw was intended for him, but he's able to get the put out of Henry. And Gomez will continue to third base. So the second out of the inning and a rundown. How about a rundown executed in an all-star game?
I think he hesitated. Maybe twice.
Well, that little ricochet to second base didn't hurt. It's not often you see a 2-6, 4-2, 5-1 rundown, if I got that correct.
No, usually there you want the high school Harry, the first, get him caught up in first and or second so he can get home from third.
2-1.
Maybe a chance then for George just to swing the bat, and he's going to take a strike on the outside corner.
2-2.
Pushing 30 pitches, first inning here.
George played for the Banditos this summer. He's going to wave and miss. So early gets the K, so he got the out at the plate and the strikeout to end. Kind of a lengthy inning. West team, though, gets the game's first run for the 11U SelectFest. It's a warm day at the East Cobb Complex in Marietta, Georgia, but a fun one, the 11U SelectFest. The 12Us get their opportunity tomorrow. We've combined this weekend. It's a lot of baseball and a lot of fun. Meanwhile, we're going to see Bowen Landry on the mound. He is another Texan, another Bandito. Says he has a good fastball with a changeup as well. Got some generous eyeballs. And Landon Hollywood Davis is going to step in to begin things. Another one of our home run competitors today. They had the quarterfinals in the early rounds yesterday, came back out today and did it with all the parents and fans watching.
know what's standing out to me? He's got big league flow.
Well, he does. We got eye black going against Flo right now.
The battle's on.
I mean, when your name's Hollywood, your nickname, you better have some flow. A Beaufort, South Carolina native from Florida Prime. He's going to hit one into right center for a base hit. I believe that's our first hit so far in the SelectFest. A leadoff single.
Now batting catcher
From Landon Davis.
That's right. Right up the middle. Hit it where it was pitched. Didn't try to do too much.
Just kind of throws his hands out there, doesn't he?
Did. You can tell he didn't. Kept the shoulder closed. Just went with it.
So we have eye black, we've got Flo, we've got nicknames. We've got Hollywood on first base. We got the baby bull, Logan Marichal, stepping into the box. One's named Hollywood. He's from Hollywood, Florida, is Marichal.
Did you see that a second ago? They were dapping each other up. First base.
Right?
Yeah, you got to love that. They're just having a good time.
Davis didn't stay at first long. Took off and able to advance easily. Aguilar behind the plate here in our second. We'll keep these catchers hydrated as best we can. That's a pretty good pitch on the corner for a strike to Marichal. Marichal, a JT Real Muto fan. Next pitch. Fouled back to the right and out of play.
I can kind of see that. I was with JT for a couple years with the Marlins. Check it right here. He is right on that line.
Well, he is, isn't he? That back foot.
Mm-hmm.
His hands almost over that inside line of the batter's box. Fouled back again.
Nice hack. You're right. When you see his hands, I mean, they're. He's right on this. Just missed it. But you see his hands right here? They're a third of the way over almost.
When he goes leaning, isn't he, over that inside line, even almost towards the inside corner of the plate, trying to take that away. I'm curious, if you're on the mound, are you going to try and come into him there? I mean, he obviously wants the ball over the heart of the plate, maybe even a little bit on that outside corner.
Now it's 2-2. I would have done that 1-2, but absolutely, you got to run in. Challenge.
Doesn't want to hit him, but there was a pitch that was on that corner and fouled away again. It doesn't matter if you're 11, 21, 31. Kind of the cat and mouse game of baseball always takes effect.
It does. That's what we call chess, not checkers.
And I think you see this advanced approach from these young men. To me, I think that's what's most fascinating. You know, I read all the bios from these kids, and they talk and communicate like they're 15 years old or 16. And I guess it shouldn't surprise us if they have an advanced baseball mentality, considering the high level of games they played throughout their young lives.
That, and, you know, all these facilities and instructors, and we've, you know, my hometown, we had a facility for 20 years. That was the first thing I did when I signed, was open our facility in town. And, you know, when I grew up, you had to drive hour and a half
That's
to go
right.
somewhere.
Not anymore. So much instruction, coaching available. Count's gone full to Marichal. And that bounces in there. That is ball 4. Davis was off and running with the pitch. Marichal wanted to stay in the box. He was told, nope, son, you got to go to first. That's ball 4. So there's runners on the corners and nobody out for the East team.
That was a great at bat.
Brings up Brian Big B Johnson Jr. from Clarksville, Tennessee. He's another Aaron Judge fan, and maybe a little bit like Judge, he's an imposing figure in that box as he fouls one back and out of play. Every once in a while, you see these young men step in there, and you're like, you know, maybe he has his learner's permit, or maybe he's getting close to getting a driver's license. And you're like, nope, he is 11.
And it's crazy. I got nephews that are 11 and 12, and I'm looking at some of these cats. I'm like, goodness.
Pitch is down and out. It's going to be a free base as Marichal will swipes second. So now there's 2 men in scoring position and nobody out for the East team trying to get their first run.
The amount of gear that they've provided. I'm looking at some of these sweatband, armbands, swag, what we call it.
Have you seen the social media posts with all the gear laid out on their beds last night?
I haven't seen it yet.
I mean, it's everything you could want and more. I think part of the fun of being in the SelectFest is just refilling your closet, so to speak.
I mean, yeah, you probably have to clean it out.
Yeah, all right, you got to go to play it again and dump off your old gear and take all your new PG gear. Landry could use a strikeout. Boy, a little bit low. I guess you wouldn't blame these pitchers if they were really trying to work around the parameters of the zone to get some chase swings.
Yeah, and right here, you want to go for the strikeout and minimize damage in this inning.
Gets a chop at a third. It's going to be a tough play at first. Not in time. An infield single for Brian Johnson Jr. Gets a base hit and RBI as Davis scores to tie the game.
I think he almost ran down the right field pole.
Real tough play for Miller at third base. On the carpet, this is just a slow bounce.
That's tough. That was a good pitch. Like the hustle, though.
So Leyland Johnson, next man in. Good pitch for a strike. The throw goes down, and it's going to result in a steal of home by Marietta. Swipes second base earlier, gets a steal of home. As the West team tried to execute that short throw down towards second base. This takes two really quick, good throws, though.
Oh, he tried to cut it.
Johnson in the box from Stonewall, Louisiana. Plays for Gold Culture. He was in Mexico. He was in Taiwan. Really, as he mentioned, he has traveled the world. And you think about what he has done at 11 that so many people never get a chance to do ever.
I can't tell you I have.
I can't either. But maybe it shouldn't surprise us as somebody from Louisiana. He's a Bregman fan. He's a Skeens fan, a Cruz fan. And he also says he's an excellent literary writer. I don't know if I've ever met any 11-year-old that tells me they're an excellent literary writer, but he's intrigued me. Is Leyland Johnson?
I guess on all these trips he's got a lot to write about.
A lot of time, right? Read, right? Johnson Jr. takes off to third. Tell you what, the one thing that strikes you when you play on this smaller field before they get to the 90-foot bases is how quickly you can advance if you get a good jump on the bases.
Speed kills. Speed kills, especially out here. I mean, you're talking to some of the best catchers in the country, too.
There's a chopper on the carpet into left for a base hit. So Johnson drives home Johnson. That's the third run of the game. And
now batting second base.
Let's listen into our New Balance sounds from the dugout. New Balance Baseball, proud partner of the Dick's Sporting Goods Perfect Game All-American Classic. Check in with Cameron.
Thank you, Brad. I'm here with Land Davis, first baseman and catcher from Beaufort, South Carolina. Landon, I talked to your mom earlier this week. She described you as an aggressive hitter, but you're working on that. How's it going?
I'm doing better on it. Yep.
Well, I'd say so. You just got a base hit. What kind of pitch was that?
It was a down the middle fastball.
So she said you're waiting on that perfect hit. That's what you're working on. Was that a perfect pitch?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so too. Good job. Back to you guys.
Few words. He's busy waiting on his pitch. I think that's one thing, Micah, you never stop learning about. You talk about being selective. In this day and age, in every level they advance, you're going to get fewer and fewer good pitches to hit. In the big leagues, maybe you get one, and if you miss that, then you're in trouble because you might not get another one.
That's right. That's what they say. Pitcher gets one, umpire gets one, the hitter gets one. And I told my high school guys this week, I said, we're going to pound the zone. We got to pound the zone.
This is Mikel Jimenez. For me, this is a lot of fun to see a young man from the Bronx part of this event. He's played this year in Texas and Florida and Georgia and Mississippi. He's called it a journey of growth and learning with unforgettable experiences, which shows me he's a man wise beyond his years. As he skies one out to right field, and it will be caught for the second out of the inning.
Sophisticated. Did he really say that?
He did.
Yeah. Now about those travels, hopefully he's got Scott on.
Noah Osterman.
And if one of your 17 or 18-year players came in and said, hey, Coach, it's been a journey of growth and learning and unforgettable experiences, you might say, who are you? What?
If you gave me that to script it out to say here, I couldn't even do it.
Osterman, the batter, the throw down to second base. That's close, but safe. Leyland Johnson had to go to the back tip of the base to get in there. Targac at second. He was catching earlier. He's playing second here, and he just about got there.
Nice hook slide.
Osterman is from Noonan, Georgia. His uncle played on these fields when they first built the facility, as did you.
And this is the one, his uncle was my teammate.
There you go.
Yeah, Troy's down there somewhere. That's his uncle.
Said he's hit 7 home runs this year, more than 275 feet. There's another throw to third, and that's a leaping effort and a good one made by Milder to keep that throw from going into left field.
Looks like kind of got stuck in the turf on that slide a little bit.
I think that's 7 stolen bases this inning for the East team. Whew. You could go a big league month maybe without seeing a team swipe 7 bases.
I don't think I'd set.
2-2.
Kind of ground him to a halt.
Maybe it was the belt.
A little resistance from the turf. That turf's warm too, by the way. You don't want to spend a lot of time diving on that if you can pop up at some point.
You usually skid on it. It'll be a uniform malfunction.
Yeah, there was something going on there. Last thing you want to do is stop short, come up just a couple of inches from the base, dragging a few of those particles with you from the turf.
And those beads. Those beads get, all up in your pants.
Now batting number 21, Walker McCrory.
Take a look at this last pitch. Able to ring up Osterman on the outside corner. He needed that one to get the out. That's off the glove and rolling away, and Johnson will score. Landry couldn't handle the throw, and that's the 4th run of the inning for the East team. That's one I believe Aguiar would like to have back from behind the plate.
Yeah, he needed that 3rd out right there.
Don't need a collision at the plate either. Aguiar again, the batter. Another South Carolina native, McCrory, I should say. He's a Bo Bichette fan. Good pitch on the outside corner for a strike.
Come on, buddy. Get him right here. I'm always pulling for my pitchers.
Yeah, especially when it's been a lengthy inning, 36 pitches for Landry. Tried to end the frame. Tried to come with a front door breaking ball and missed.
Two and two.
Is he overthrowing just a bit?
He is. And if you see the leg lift, slower, So then he's quick out front. That's why he's yanking a little
Rushing
bit
it.
more.
Makes sense.
He's got to get rhythm, get a little more tempo involved.
His body parts are kind of competing against themselves. Count's gone full to McCrory. That's on the ground to third. Kind of a funny bounce off the carpet, but the play is made to end the inning. But Team East scores 4 runs. We head to the bottom of the frame. West has some catching up to do early in Marietta. Well, Early's going back out to the mound. Most of these pitchers are scheduled to go 1 inning. Right before the game, we found out he would go 2. Now, he threw quite a few pitches in the first, but he was able to end the inning with a strikeout to George, giving up just 1 run. I think the one thing, though, you have a chance then, if you're going to throw a second inning, is just kind of recalibrate, collect yourself, go back out and try and finish strong.
And he already looks more composed. You know, get that first one out of the way. You know, if you get to start and go 5 or 6, you get to settle in. He doesn't have that luxury, so hopefully be sharper this time.
He does not. Well, for those of you watching on YouTube, be sure to click that subscribe button. Happy to have you on perfectgame.tv, on any of the applications where this game is available. Same thing tomorrow for the 12U.
Now
SelectFest
batting number 9,
from
Luke
East Cobb.
Salvador Garcia. Right field.
Salvador Luke Garcia, first man in from Cypress, California, part of ZT National Prospects. Even though he's from California, he'd love to play at LSU someday. Well, this isn't easy for the lefty to get this slinging left-hander, is it, from this distance?
Definitely not. And like I said, it looks like he's a little bit more composed already.
That's a tough AB for any lefty.
He's got some whip, I'm telling you.
He does. I mean, it kind of starts slow, and then when that ball comes out of his hand, it has got some juice.
Going way off here. Good pitch.
A 2-strike pitch.
Oh, he thought he got him. Gotta love that.
1 and 2.
Garcia played at most of the PG national events this year, East Coast and West Coast, even though he's a West Coaster.
All right, get him right here.
How about this one? Salvador Luke Garcia says he was home for 4 weeks this entire summer. On the road playing baseball all around the country. He's going to take strike 3, down looking as Early has back-to-back Ks, 1 to end the first, this one to begin the second.
Now batting Bowen Landry.
Hit that target, didn't he?
Landlord.
Yeah, I'm telling you, kind of some Aroldis Chapman whip to it.
I could see that. Bowen Landry had a lengthy top of the second on the mound, but now he gets to swing the bat or try and get out of the way of that whip from Early.
No, he wants to hit.
Well, these young men, got a feeling we're teammates with Ray De Leon for the Banditos. So they separate him for this event.
Growing up, that was always a challenge for me. Facing my buddies.
Didn't like it?
I don't know.
No
what it
bragging
was.
rights? Now you'd put it on the gram. You'd put it on social media if you were able to get your buddy.
That's right.
It would live there forever until the next meeting, the next battle. Landry's pitch is high. I tell you what, his stride, though, is so long right now, Micah. He's actually coming off the mound because that mound is condensed. He will actually step beyond that landing pad because of his stride. You know, he's almost himself outgrowing this dimension and this field.
And you wonder when he does that if that lip's bothering him on the land.
Just a little extra bounce. He kept it just short of that landing spot that time. He's been right at that edge on a few pitches. And after striking out Garcia, he'll walk entire family here, and you know, you're kind of beaming with pride for your young man and what he's accomplished. JD and Allison, his parents. Dad was a varsity letterman as a linebacker at the U.S. Navy Academy, and went on to serve 25 years in the Navy and retired as a commander.
Much respect. It's another big boy.
Yeah, another big young man. And even on his bio, he said, I'm big for my age, 5'10", 182 at 12 years old, but he says, I'm still athletic. I can play every position on the field. Have a strong arm, good movement. And he played for the #1 ranked team in the nation. And we've talked about all the Banditos we've seen here. He plays for the #1 team, and he led that team in hits, homers, and runs batted in.
The trio. He's quiet for a big guy in the box.
Yeah, those hands somewhat close to his body. He got locked up on that pitch. Has a hitting cage at home. Loves to hit with dad. Got a feeling they do that on more than a few occasions.
Those couple weeks there at home.
Whenever you can, right? A day here and there. Throw down to second base is not going to be in time to get Bowen Landry. Count has gone full to McBride.
There you go. Fell asleep.
Is he out? No, he gets in there. These teams are running the bases today.
Yes, they are. That was close, but he got in there.
Real close. Right. Just watching Landry make his path around the bases. He almost, ooh, boy. Kind of landed on his chest, then went in with his helmet into the knee. The third baseman, McCrory. Early would love to end this sequence, but he misses outside of McBride.
See if he can do the job.
47 pitches for his inning and a third of work. And the only pitcher at least scheduled to go 2 in our 7-inning game. Payoff pitch is outside, so McBride able to take ball 4.
Now batting,
and the West team has runners on the corner.
Sweeney.
Goes hit him.
Was a little bit frustrated on the mound, and you know, this is where that heat will zap you too, right? I mean, you're thinking about trying to be economical. You're fighting it a little bit with your command. Trying to get quick outs.
And I'm with you on that landing. I think sometimes he extends a little bit, and that lip may bother him.
Almost feels like he's trying to shorten it up just a bit as Brandon Sweeney steps in. California native. Strikeout to start the inning, but a couple of walks since. Whenever Brandon Sweeney's not playing baseball, he's in the ocean. He's surfing out in California.
Just missed.
Outside. Eric Burns, his travel team coach for Brandon Sweeney. Kind of a double clutch throw down to second base. Nice job backing that up by Cordero to keep it from bouncing on the carpet into center field. And Landry held a third. I think he had a little ding after that play at third base. He wasn't quite ready to try and score just yet.
Interesting story about Hannon. His dad was on the grounds crew when I was in Arizona.
Is that right?
Yep.
Good pitch in there for a strike. I tell you what, this is a small baseball fraternity when you start to think about it.
It is. And I told him this morning I saw Bernsey in Nashville for the coaches meetings, you know, back in, I guess it was January. And then he told me he was on the team with them. Bergie's doing a good job of that team.
No shortage of energy?
Ever. I just wanted to rub just a little bit of it.
Just one day to have as much as he does every day.
It's still triathlon stuff, I think.
Didn't he play for the Bananas for a little bit?
He managed Bananas.
Boy.
He was, I think, highly responsible for them launching like they have.
You might be right. I mean, his personality almost seems like a match made in heaven for that event, and there's ball 4 to Sweeney.
Yeah, I think you got
Now batting
right?
Jacob
Yeah, he
Miller.
said. And where just try and cut this young man's outing short, although I don't believe we've had a call to the bullpen just yet. West team trailing 4-1 here in the bottom of the second. Yeah. And that will do it for Tyler Early. We'll step aside, come back with a new pitcher in a moment from the East Cobb Complex.
Welcome back. I'm here with the manager of the East, Coach Ryan Klesko. He was in the league for 15 years. So tell me what your 11-year experience was like playing baseball. I'm not sure it was anything like this.
This is crazy. I mean, the way baseball has progressed and perfect game, and a lot of these kids do stuff like this. We didn't have anything like this. It was amazing. So, it's just a great experience for these kids to come out and do this and see all these kids all around the country and play against them. Back when I was that age, we were playing just local kids. So, man, hats off to perfect game and these events they put on.
Whether it's tournaments, showcases, coaching, what do you look forward to most with PG?
I think just coming out here and trying to get the kids better. When I was an early age, we didn't have any guys really instructing other than just my local guy. And we get out there and try to get the kids as good as they can, as quick as they can, with proper mechanics so they don't hurt their arms. And that, for me, is probably the most important part.
So what kind of responsibility will you have in Fort Myers for the 14U tournament?
Oh, yeah. So that's the kids that my son plays with and against and stuff like that. So we're going to go down there, a lot of familiar faces, but I am on the West team, and we beat them 2 years in a row. So they're looking to try to get me. So we got to get a win here today and go back down and beat the East.
Oh, gosh, somebody's looking for revenge. Well, thank you very much. Have a great rest of the day coaching. Back to you, Brett.
He said it right there. I enjoy just trying to help these kids get better. And I was watching him talk to 2 or 3 young men and their families yesterday. So we've got a new pitcher, and it's Noah Osterman, working with the bases loaded to Jacob Miller. A couple of kids came up for some pictures, and Ryan just used that opportunity just to talk to these young men about hitting and approach and whatnot. And that one's fouled back. And I could just tell he just enjoys just trying to make a difference. And I know that's probably in part what drew you into coaching too.
Absolutely. And, we were fortunate to live out our childhood dream, just like each one of these kids is pursuing. And now to be able to give back what, we were able to experience and the knowledge, and special. It's special just to be able to help in what small capacity we can.
And I got to believe the really exciting part, and when things click, and I don't want to get too far away from a bases-loaded situation here with Jacob Miller, and he's going to wave and miss. It's when the kid appreciates it, learns, takes your experience, and then moves his career forward.
Absolutely. And to do it younger, I like the amateur style more. I mean, I did the pro ball stuff, scouting and the player development, but I like the amateur because they are more open to learning. They're hungry.
Right. Miller has a chance to do some damage. He's going to stroke one out to right center field. It's down for a base hit. It's going to score a run and maybe more. A little bit of a bobble. We're going to see if all 3 can come around and score. That's going to be the case. A 2-run single. There was a bobble, and all 3 touched the plate on the Jacob Miller base hit.
Again, good piece of hitting. Didn't try to do too much. Oh, just got inside on it.
Ball was hit out to the gap, and there was just a bobble here that led to an extra run scoring, but Landry, McBride, and Sweeney all come around.
Number 6, Ashton Aguilar.
We've got a 4-4 game.
Just like that.
Ashton Aguilar, next man in. Going to wave and miss. I'll finish my thought, though, on Jacob Miller, who got that 2-run single. He was born in the Philippines, lived in Japan for 3 years. The first professional baseball game he ever went to was the Yokohama Bay Stars in Japan.
First?
What that?
Bet that was special.
You'd win some prizes in a game of one-upsmanship with that one in the dugout.
0-2.
Aguiar, another California native. He'd like to go to Oklahoma State at some point. He also says he's a professional fisherman. He just went fishing, I think. He offered and went down on strike
Now
3.
batting,
His
fielder,
Osterman gets the
Jackson
K
Hannon.
for the second out of the inning.
Nice job elevating. But I talk to our pitching coach all the time. You have to practice that in the bullpen. You can't just come out in the game and just throw it. You have to practice those.
Otherwise, you can't elevate it enough, I got to believe.
And he did that one, and he still chased. It was up. I tell our pitchers right off the catcher's top of the catcher's mask. You almost see right where it is letter high.
This is Jackson Hannon from Mesa, Arizona. Osterman okay. He's looking at that left hand of his.
Need some rosin.
That makes sense. Nothing wrong with it other than it's in need of some moisture. A little bit of a rosin bag. Let's go back and see if we can
To Axon
see something on this
Jackson.
last pitch. Yeah, that hand let him down.
You know, those are the differences growing up pitching, playing here, and then being in Arizona where it's dry. I had to come up with ways to get some of that moisture.
I bet you did. Completely different feel. Hannon's going to send one back in our direction. It's going to be out of play. We'd have a couple of souvenirs if we had windows open today.
Probably some bumps on our head, too.
Next one to Hannon. Runs over the inside corner, strike 3 called. So Osterman did a pretty good job. Gave up the single that scored a couple of runs in the air, played it another battle back to get a couple of strikeouts to end the second. We're in a 4-4 game as we go to the third. Tell you what, just that site lets you know. East Cobb Complex in Marietta, Georgia. Perfect game. Has done such a great job putting turf on all these fields with the volume and amount of baseball played year-round. You got to be able to play through some Georgia storms from time to time. And those trees are the giveaway, though, aren't they, Micah, that we're in Georgia?
Right? Isn't it beautiful? I call it God's country.
I bet you would. Luke Salvador Garcia is our new pitcher, and I want to intrigue you with his self-scouting report. He says he has a strong live arm with a good running fastball that moves in and out to hitters. But he says he has an arsenal of pitches, including a curve, a slider, a changeup, a 2-seam, a 4-seam, and he's working on a splitter. Whatever that one was, he gets it out from Jason Spray Jr. to begin the third inning.
That's an arsenal.
It is an arsenal, right? I mean, I couldn't even get him out, and he's already got an out.
Now batting, Ramon Roa.
Slider, cutter.
Left fielder.
Retired the Murfreesboro, Tennessee native, Jason Spray Jr. We'll tell you more about him when he bats later on. Ramon Roa, next man in. From Groveland, Florida.
He's right on that line, too.
Boy, he lifts that front leg in the air, and he's just ready to try and put it down and do some damage. He's a Miguel Cabrera fan. That's a leg lift, isn't it?
That is a leg lift. It's parallel with his belt.
Sure is. If he gets that thing down with that size at 197 pounds, he might be in danger of putting one into the trees.
That's the key. Get the,
Right.
foot down.
I mean, it's
Yep.
timing.
Yep. Now, I parked down the right field line. I'm a little worried
You
now.
think you're in trouble?
I'm in that corner.
I think you might survive. Now, when the 12Us come tomorrow, you might want to pick a different spot.
Absolutely.
And that one got him, so Rule will take his base. Base runner with 1 out in the 3rd inning. We were watching the 12U kids hit this morning on the adjoining field where it's 350 to center rather than 265. I was seeing some balls hit out of the park and launched, so they may make this field look tiny tomorrow.
Wait, they're hitting on this? They're playing on.
Correct.
Oh my, that'll be fun.
Will be. Traveris Albury Jr., next man in from Tampa, Florida, plays for Prime Baseball. He's a big Francisco Lindor fan.
I have to let my buddy Billy Mold know down there. He's at UCF, the head coach there. Go ahead and start tracking some of these.
Better, right? I mean, there's no such thing as being too early right now.
No, I mean, they used to commit, what, 9th grade, 8th grade before you even step on the field in varsity?
Before they even played a varsity game. We've kind of slowed that down with the new rules.
Big fan of that.
I think everybody is. And a few that kind of got caught at that wrong time will have no shortage of offers when that opportunity exists. And that one is high to Albury Jr. So a couple of walks with 1 out in the 3rd inning.
Right? 8 balls in a row.
Right, you're right. Got the ground out and a couple of walks. And we're back to the top of the lineup. We turned it over for Jesse Soberall Jr. Struck out looking to begin our game.
So here's the thing. When you have 6 pitches, how do you choose?
Yeah, I'm not sure how the catcher chooses.
You got to use your glove as the 6th sign?
Might have to hone in on a couple you want to work on that day. And Soberall takes it, and that's down and out.
Yeah, and I know even my time with the development with the Reds, player development, you'd have guys come in with 3, 4, some 5, and we'd say, focus on 3. Make 3 really good.
That's right. You'd rather have a few really good ones than a lot of so-so pitches.
Mm-hmm.
In today's day and age, certain people's cutters might be my slider. I mean, you're talking about pitch shape and depth and tilt and whatnot. But strikes are strikes, especially at this age and in this game. Uh-oh. How about that move? And did we get a tag? I hope we did, and yes, indeed. Roa retired. That was a lot of running for our 3rd baseman, Christian Choe. Ramon Roa. How about that effort?
My question is, did he do that on his own? Or was that put on? That was a great move.
That was a great move. Tried for a backdoor strike and missed. If you're Roa and you're running to 3rd, you're like, how in the world did that ball beat me when he's spinning and looking and I thought I had the base? Swing and a miss. Soberall Jr. down on strike, so Garcia, despite having 8 pitches in a row miss in between, doesn't give up a hit or a run. 4-4 game as we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning.
We get to the 20 mark?
We will get there with flying colors, I have a feeling. Osterman came on last inning to help out early, and he got a couple of strikeouts to end the 2nd, so he is going to go back out for a 3rd, so he was efficient. He did give up the 2-run single that ended up scoring 3 to tie the game, but those were the inherited runners. Then he went strikeout, and see what he can do against Kennedy, Waddell, and Targac.
And even that single looked like a good pitch. Just stayed inside and didn't try to do too much, but it looked like a quality pitch.
Caden Kennedy, first man in this inning. from Gilmer, Texas. Plays for Gold Culture, wants to be a Texas Longhorn. 3 different PG
Center
MVPs
fielder, Caden Kennedy.
on his shelf. Facing Osterman to begin this inning. Tell you a little more about Kennedy as this inning progresses.
Equipment malfunction here. Yep.
Caden says his father's been sick due to kidney failure, which has kind of left him unavailable at times. He's going to sky one out to right field, and the play is going to be made. And Mom has had to make sure he's been ready for all of these events. So we wish him well as Caden flies out to right. Let's go back downstairs and check in with Cameron.
Hey guys, I'm out here with the manager of the West, Flash Gordon, played in the league for 21 years. Gordon, I asked Coach Klesko this too. What was your experience like playing baseball as an 11-year-old?
I tell you, it's a different time, but also too, if we had this type of platform to play on, perfect game stage like this, 11U, this is awesome to see the kids playing as hard as they can play, but also with the best talent in the country.
What are you most impressed with when it comes to perfect game showcases, tournaments, all of it?
You know what? I love the fact that we give a kid an opportunity to be on that stage to showcase what they can do. Their tools show that they're ready to play, but also, too, look at how many guys in the major leagues now that are playing that have come through perfect game that's made this what we're doing on this field so much better.
All right, we can't ignore the ring on your finger and all the bling with it. What do you tell these players what it's going to take to get that on their finger, too?
Well, luckily enough, I mean, a lot of the kids always ask me, hey, Coach, how many times do you do this? I'm like, I guess I do it enough now. But also, too, they love trying it on. And I told them that, just continue to work hard. There's a lot of times in those spaces that you do continue to work, you see other guys around you wanting to do it, wanting to play hard, and then you get an opportunity to be on the World Series Championship Ball Club. There's nothing like it. This is what you're doing now. They're setting themselves up for championship baseball.
Thank you very much. Back to you, Brett.
Thank you, Cam. The one thing Flash said that got my attention, he just offered up that question, how many players have come through perfect game in these events that have found their way to the big leagues? How about 2 of his own sons?
That's incredible. But he's right.
You're right.
He's going to keep pumping them out.
Boston Targac down on strikes to end the inning, so Osterman retired the last 5 that he faced. Nice job. It's a 4-4 game. Brett Dolan and Micah Owings here from the East Cobb Complex. RE11U Perfect Game Select Festival. Got a new pitcher. Jackson.
Leading off the
Action
top of the
Jackson
fourth,
Hainan from
Tyler
Mesa,
Sweeney.
Arizona. Young man who grew up watching his brothers, Kobe and Drew, play and learned a lot of baseball watching them. Now they get to maybe watch their brother on television. He's going to pitch here at the top of the 4th inning against the heart of the lineup, including Tyler Early, who's going to lead off.
I think one of his brothers is actually here.
That's the way it should be, right? I mean, he's grown up watching his brothers. Got to return the favor when you get a chance.
Hey, I'm one of 5. Absolutely.
Is that right?
Yeah. 3 boys, 2 girls.
Your parents earn their stripes then with all your games and activities, I got to believe.
Definitely. So I signed out of college. My brother signed out of high school. I get to work with both of them now.
Hey, Tyler Early tried to bunt his way on in an all-star game as the player of the year.
Yeah, you can see the athleticism all over him.
It's going to be fun to follow his path, his pursuit throughout his baseball journey. That's on the ground to second. Going to be an easy play there for Waddell to retire early
Now batting number 13,
to begin the 4th inning.
Christopher Cabrera. Favorite team? Home
Tyler
and
Early,
away.
you're talking about parents and whatnot. He said his mom inspires him because he's just seen her do amazing things. And these parents, I mean, when you're talking about kids that have been home for 3 or 4 weeks the entire summer, it is a family journey. And this is Cabrera. He will ground one to short. Is he going to get down that line? He is out by a step. Cabrera retired by Landry for the second out. But this is a family journey. I know these kids are the one playing. Moms and dads are the one driving and making sure the uniforms are clean and there's food in their bellies and everything they need is taken care of.
That's what I'm saying with having, you know, a family of 5 growing up. My sister rode horses. She still does. My other sister was a cheerleader. The 3 of us boys played basketball and baseball. And it was, until we started driving, juggling.
That's right.
But I, too, couldn't say enough about my parents and what they did for us growing up.
I got a family story I'm going to save for tomorrow in a 12U game that'll leave you shaking your head, but you might be one of the few that can relate. As junior Cordero bats, he flew out to center his only time in. I would say the pitchers and base runners have had the influence in this game. We haven't had a lot of big swings. Maybe that will change here in our later innings.
I don't know if we're going to get to that 20 mark for stolen bases.
Well, I tell you what, we saw Osterman come on, retired 5 in a row. Haanen has set down the first 2 that he has faced.
Two balls, one
If I was a
strike.
bet man, I'd take it. They would.
I felt good about it maybe a half inning ago. We'll see how that changes. The over-under. And there's a chopper fouled outside of third base. Top 28, 11U players in the country. Have a few more players on the roster tomorrow for the 12U SelectFest. Sometimes it's just fun to follow these young men as they progress. If we see them next year, the year after. Junior Cordero is going to wave and miss. How about Haanen? That's a nice inning.
It was a great inning.
2 groundouts and a strikeout, restoring some order. We go to the bottom of the 4th, tied at 4.
I can just recently say that. I just took.
You're part of the fraternity.
Yeah, just took a job here a couple months ago.
Christian Choe is going to lead off. We featured him in the open. We saw him on the mound, and he struck out back in the 1st. It's interesting, though, that Choe said he didn't play baseball maybe as early as some of the other young men. And, you know, has some varied interest. I mentioned the jiu-jitsu training that he feels like might help him just, you know, be more flexible, be a better athlete.
I've heard that. Actually, Chris Snyder, my catcher, my rookie year, well, first 2 years in Arizona in the league.
Cougar.
Yep. He was into that. So I knew if I ever plunked somebody,
He'd take care
he
of
was going to take care of it.
Joe's going to wave and miss.
Good sequence.
He changed that eye level on purpose with hitters, and even got one more than maybe he bargained for, but that's a fine job by the man they go by 7. His uniform number as well.
He really did. And again, even that single with the bases loaded, it was a good pitch.
Steps in. He was out in that long rundown between third and home, and he was trying to launch and hit one out of play to the right.
First pitch breaking ball.
This was the young man earlier I said who qualified for the Junior Olympics in the shot put. Be curious to know what he might be able to do.
Again, he was one of my picks today.
I believe he said that his favorite was Mom's cookie, and he said, I wouldn't be as big as I am were Mom not such a good cook, which I find wildly amusing.
If she's here, can we get some?
Might not be a bad idea. A little post-game buffet, and he fouls another one back and out of play.
So that would be my mom's pound cake for us.
We might need some of that, too.
I could probably make that happen.
All right.
Mom,
Like
if you
that.
listen, we need some tomorrow.
Need some pound cake. East Cobb. Cordero against Henry. Threw the breaking ball, and that one got tagged to left, and it's off the fence. It was off the loco sign, and that is going to be a ringing, long, loud single from Leyland Henry.
Number 23, Martin Gomez.
Spray Jr. almost had this ball find him and left.
Looked like a 1-2 breaking ball just stayed over the plate a little bit.
Boy, he kept those hands back, didn't he, on that breaking pitch?
Those are the ones you're like, a single? I touched that ball. I got a single?
If the fence was 365 feet, it might have hit the fence there, too.
That's right. He might have gotten a double then.
It hit the loco sign below the scoreboard, and Leyland Henry gets a long single. And it brings up Gomez. He's going to take a strike. California native. I love these self-scouting reports. These kids are as honest as they can be, as you see Henry at first. Gomez says large build, moderately athletic. And it goes to the backstop. And Henry said, I don't even feel like advancing to second on that one.
Moderately.
He did say arm strength elite, so he came back and gave himself a compliment after he said he was moderately athletic.
Humble, but slid it in there.
One ball, one strike.
He's batting cleanup for the West team. We're in a 4-4 game. And Cordero's pitch went behind Gomez. Had to duck out of the way.
2-1.
So they let him pitch now with sleeves and stuff, huh?
He's got that left sleeve, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It is colored red under his jersey. Henry said, that's the first time someone's tried to pick me off in a long time. He said, what's going on? He didn't go to second base when the ball hit the backstop. He's probably not going to steal second here.
What's up, dude?
Those hands and that expression was priceless. And that one fouled back and out of play, I think, into the corner. No. How about the catch made?
Got it.
Nice job in right field by Early. He had just enough real estate
Now batting number
to be able to make that catch.
King Kong, Kingston, George.
I thought it was going out for sure.
And he worked his way through the shadows into the foul territory area. Pretty casual.
Hat off and everything.
And it brings up Kingston George, who struck out his only time in. He got a first pitch breaking ball when he was looking fastball.
He's thinking about that one. What just happened?
Dad played 6 years in the minor leagues. Pitch left up a little bit. Mom was a lacrosse goalie. Uncle was a national champion wrestler. Very unique athletic family background. Drilled to left, hit well. This ball is up and out and in the Georgia trees and gone. And Kingston George, who put on a show in batting practice, does the same thing in the game with a 2-run shot.
Then he knew it.
Well, he's a fun kid to watch swing the bat. That was another one where our left fielder, Spray Jr., was back there thinking, do I have a chance? There was no chance.
Just left it up over the plate. Look at that
Now
swing.
batting
Good
from
swing.
Team West, Salvador, Luke Garcia.
And a little bat flip as well. Watch how far this one traveled. Just how quickly it jumped out over the scoreboard, into the trees, and gone.
No better feeling.
Oh, there can't be.
Maybe punching out the side.
Salvador, Luke Garcia up there. Now he had to face Early as the lefty, slinging it in there when he batted in the second. Gets a right-hander here in Cordero.
That's a sharp breaking ball. Try to backdoor it there.
Throw it again? Why not, right?
Yeah.
Left a couple of them just a little bit up.
2 balls,
Yeah,
1 strike.
again earlier, just when you get in that rush mode a little bit and can't get the arm out, get on top to finish. That's what happened.
And I wonder, when you go to the regulation mound soon at 60 feet, if that almost helps finish, where you don't feel like you're in such a hurry to cover that short distance.
And I think that's, a lot of times we'll have guys do short flat ground because, then when you move back, you do have that.
Garcia is going to wave and miss. Cordero gets the K to end the inning. Kingston George with the 2-run homer to put West in front. Well, it's time for our low.
For the West
By the
team,
way, speaking of Kingston George, didn't we just see him hit a homer just a moment ago?
We did.
Now he's on the mound.
I used to love this part.
What's the feeling as a pitcher who's just homered? You come out there, you're flying high, right? You got the 2-run homer. Now you go back out there and a chance to dominate on a different aspect of the game.
You were so amped up, you almost have to harness way back.
Is that right?
Oh, and
Scale
I
it
can
out?
see it.
Is it the running the bases? Is it just the adrenaline of the swing and the moment?
Yeah, you still got that adrenaline. You're not going out to first base or the outfield. You're getting back on the mound. You're getting after it.
Let's see what Kingston George can do. Working in the 5th inning, he's given himself the lead, so he could have the game-winning homer and the win, too.
Let's go.
Landon Davis, South Carolina native. Whenever he's not playing baseball, he's into skeet shooting and snowboarding. Hello from Kingston George. Speaking of adrenaline, there was a little bit.
Just a little. I don't think that was intentional.
I probably just was juiced up and ready to go. Davis did single back in the 2nd and score, so he has a chance for a 2-8 game. Let a bat waggle over that back shoulder as he sprays one foul, not a play.
That is kind of like the chef.
A little bit like Sheffield.
Yeah. But his was intense. Shoulder to shoulder.
Feels like pretty firm, pretty good velocity, though, from George.
He's amped up. Calm it down a little bit, control it. Still let it go, but control it. Call that controlled aggression.
So George, after that home run,
Full count.
trying to put up a strong inning on the mound.
Full count. What do we got here?
That one sprayed down the line and right. Going to be a base hit. Second single from Landon Davis. Let's take a look at our hydrate, our launch hydrate. Home run of the game from George just a half inning ago.
Power.
It doesn't matter what level we're talking about, whether you played in the major leagues, played at Georgia Tech and Tulane. When a good hitter gets a pitch over the heart of the plate, they usually don't miss it.
Don't miss it. Now, if you're scuffling, so in scouting reports, I always like to obviously pitch to my strengths. Always wanted to know who was hot. It didn't matter where you threw it. But like you said earlier, the higher up you go at each level, you got to be finer and finer.
Marietta walked his only time in. He took a seat in the batter's box. That spilled him.
We used to say get dirty, but you don't get dirty with this
You
stuff.
do not. Might get warm, but not dirty. Pitch up under the chin of Marietta, the catcher, who's played a couple of different positions as well. George is leaving that pitch elevated, leaving it up.
I tell you, that bat looks like it's on fire.
3 balls, no strikes.
Get that bright thing.
Thought he might get the high strike there, but he did not. So a single and a walk
Now batting,
to begin the
Brian
5th
Johnson
inning.
Jr.
So Brian Johnson Jr. got an infield single and a chop at a third and an RBI back in the 2nd. You better be a little footloose in the batter's box right now until George calibrates into the zone.
Homer still amped up, I'm telling you.
You called that before he even got out there, that adrenaline rush. And I'll give you another aspect too, though, Micah.
There you go.
And you know this. I mean, you're running around the bases, you're in the dugout, you're not down in the bullpen with your normal warm-up routine.
That's right.
You're rushed.
And especially, I was a routine guy. You have to figure out, you know, the older you get, more you're doing two-way stuff, you figure that out.
Back-to-back really nice pitches to Brian Johnson Jr. All A students, so many of these young men, just tremendous kids, whether they volunteer, whether they have success in the classroom as well. It's all time management. It doesn't matter if you're 11 or 18 or 15. Be able to handle the workload of sports, travel, and everything that goes into being a young man.
And I'm glad that Flash pointed that out last night for education, you know, to stay on your books, stay on your grades. I know we're doing that now at the high school and college coach. First thing you're going to ask, how are the grades?
And let's face it, as long as this is an 11.7 scholarship sport, your grades make up some of the money that you do not get with a 25-30% scholarship.
And with the schools and their costs now, it's outrageous in some of these schools.
Yeah, I know that well. I'm at that age with one in and one on their way where you better be ready. Get that checkbook out.
I think Tech and Tulane, since I've been there, have almost doubled. Whew. So on the flip side of that, if you are excelling in the classroom and playing ball, you got a pretty nice little ride.
You do. I think it's one thing college coaches will say, well, tell me about your grades, tell me about your GPA, because here's what I can do academically in addition to what I can do athletically, baseball. And why we're still talking about 11.7 scholarships in this day and age where we spend money like drunken sailors at the college level, I don't know. That'd be nice to change, but it hasn't changed yet.
It has to. We're doing the NIL stuff.
That's correct. There's a chopper to the right side. It's going to bound on into right for a base hit. Davis around third. He will score on the single, and it's a one-run game. Brian Johnson Jr. didn't hit it hard, but he hit it in the right place, and he gets an RBI. Unable to take that big bounder. And Zaylen Johnson, our Louisiana native, next man in. He hit an RBI single back in the second. He's content to sit on a pitch and he takes strike one.
A little bit of an Aaron Rowland stance, but from the right side. Hands down.
Well, those hands are low, aren't they? Mm-hmm. Kind of rocking those off between his belt and his letters. Got a steal of second base by Brian Johnson Jr., so runners at second and third. Does that present any timing issue when you're trying to get those hands, when you're kind of bouncing off that belt to bring them back up in a more customary hitting launch spot?
I would continually tell them start earlier. I said, yes, sir. And I keep using some of these comparisons. When I was scouting that year with the Mariners, they wanted comparisons on every report, even from the amateur level.
I liked it.
It was challenging, but now I can see it still coming out.
Sure. There's some people that say, I don't like doing the comps, but I think if you're trying to visualize somebody that you haven't seen, and things have changed now from the video standpoint, but, a comp to me is always a good head start on figuring out a young man.
It was very challenging often.
Well, George has given up a single, a walk and a single, facing the dangerous Zaylen Johnson, who was one of those young men that's been in Cary, North Carolina, Taiwan, Mexico, Mississippi. I think the one thing he said, he tried to take a little something from every coach he's had this year, which I think is another very advanced thought process for an 11-year-old. Listen, learn, take something.
Definitely. Some of these kids, I wouldn't even have to check on their grades.
Well, he's a 4.0 student, in case you're curious. 3 consecutive years. Ironman Leader Award voted by teachers, superintendent list for academics, so he's got it going on. as he fouls one back. And then if that's not enough, he volunteers and does community service at school and makes Christmas wreaths for the Veterans Memorial Cemetery.
Full count.
Wow.
3-2.
I'm kind of embarrassed growing up now.
Yeah, you were just hanging out, playing ball, maybe going to school. He's doing everything. Did he offer? I think he did. George gets the strikeout, and that's a big K. He really needed that with second and third in a one-run game and nobody out. To be the one hot spot for these pitchers. If you can get that pitch again shoulder high, get some swings and misses, get a strikeout.
I'm telling you, that was mine. I made a living doing that. The guys that would challenge me, that bothered me, were the leadoff guys because they, slap.
Wouldn't play?
Run. Yep.
Michael Jimenez is going to send one foul and out of play. Speaking of these kids and how unique they are, let me tell you about Jimenez. He wrote a children's science fiction book with his father called The Magic Tablet, which delivers a good message at the end. He won't have a good finish here. He's going to strike out, but the throw's going to have to go to first, and that's going to lead to a run because Marichelle read it perfectly, and the ball kicks away, and a second run's going to score on a strikeout. A two-run strikeout, and the East team has jumped back in front.
Now batting number 7, Noah Osterman.
And a great breaking ball team.
Boy, George got the K, but right now there's not a throw, and you see our catcher, he's checking that runner and kind of caught between what do I do, and McBride, once he threw to first, then it came back to the plate and it ricocheted away, and this leads to the second run scoring. I'm not sure how many young men have written a science fiction book at the age of 11, but credit to Jimenez for that. But he wasn't happy with the strikeout, and yet when he took off and drew the throw, chaos ensued. And this is Osterman. We saw him have a lot of success on the mound.
Too low. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, he came in and did a nice little job right there. Georgia boy.
Struck out on his only at bat. Second chance here, and he's going to get himself a base hit into center for Osterman. So the East team in front, 7-6 in the fifth inning, and trying to tack on to their advantage.
Keeping it going.
Brings up Walker McCrory from Spartanburg, South Carolina. Bo Bichette fan. George has had a couple of strikeouts, but he's had a few of those as well.
.32 pitches.
He'd really love to find a way to win this inning. Throw to third, and I think we're inching a little bit closer to that 20 stolen base number this inning.
You did say it. Looks like at the top of his leg lift, his back foot on the rubber is lifting a little bit. He's got a little bit of a hitch. I think it throws him off.
A little twist, a little lift. It's ball 4 to
Now
McCrory.
batting Jason Spray Jr.
It's like an ankle sprain or something.
Flash is on his way out to the mound. Finish that thought on McCrory, though. You think about these young men, how they just enjoy playing baseball. They understand they're on that path, very goal-oriented, and he said, I was able to accomplish my other goals for the year, and I laid it all out on the field. And I think it's a pretty satisfying feeling when you lay out your goals in advance, and then you watch them come into fruition as the summer develops.
And then you just get to create and recreate higher goals.
Start over, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Just keep elevating your goals and your work ethic and try and do it again.
I had that talk early in my career. You know, the dream was to make it to the big leagues, and then you get there, and then it's like, what's the next challenge? Well, obviously, to stay there.
Stay, sure. Jason Spray Jr., we get the steal of second base. Do we get the steal of home? We do not. Osterman was cut down at the plate, and the West team was able to get off the field despite the fact 3-run score. This is how the inning ended. Seen this a couple of times today, but that throw was cut short. Good throw back to the plate. Inning over. Make the catch in the fans appreciated seeing Cabrera. Christopher about ready to pitch in the 5th inning. Bowen Landry, the batter. He walked and scored in the 2nd. We saw him on the mound. He had a lengthy 2nd inning. He was able to fight his way through.
Leading off bottom of the 5th, ladies and gentlemen, the landlord.
We talked about
Bowen
this earlier. I
Landry.
love the EH. I think they can implement that more in high school, college. It's interchangeable.
Would you be in favor of high school teams having the chance to maybe bat 10 players?
Potentially.
Yeah.
Or like we do it here in the summer league with the Sun Belt, you have the option to bat 9 or 10, and you can have 2 EHs or just 1. So in the playoffs, I went to 9. All summer I did 10, get guys at bats. Playoffs, I went with, you know, my best 9 to give us a chance to get back to the top of the order.
I think it makes sense on both ends. I mean, you understand where you want your best 9 hitters in a postseason game. You understand where you want to get at bats for your kids over the course of a summer league. That, for a hitter, is what it's all about. Cabrera ready, the first pitch. Misses to Bowen Landry.
Yeah, and the challenge with that, too, is summer you want guys to play, but you also want to win. So you've got guys that might not get as many at-bats or innings pitched, or it's a balance, it's a juggle.
Cabrera's got a little bit of a pause before he really comes down that hill towards the plate. There's one, but it's right there, and then he comes to the ditch.
Yeah, it's what he does, obviously. I like more smooth rhythm. Correct. I always tell our guys smooth at the end because you can air quick and then smooth.
He was around the zone. He just wasn't in the zone, and Landry
Now batting Mad Dog,
will walk to begin the
Maddox
5th inning.
Team with the armor.
This is Maddox McBride. He walked and scored back in the second.
I don't think he feels good. Didn't you say he was a little banged up?
He had a little shoulder injury this year. Sidearm pick over to first. West team trailing by a run in the bottom of the 5th inning. Had one home run of the game from Kingston George in the 4th for this West team. You know, we've seen a lot of pitchers when they've missed, they've been up around the hitter's helmet, they've been at the backstop. That's not the case for Cabrera, but he's been just enough out of the zone.
Just off. And we also tell pitchers that if you're going to miss small, you know, not the large misses.
Well, you hope to get a little swing and a miss or a chase every once in a while. I guess when you haven't been in the zone yet, those hitters can be a little more patient and make you kind of pump in a couple of strikes.
We're getting down, I mean, maybe not in this game, but we're getting down to the end of the game. Close game, it may take till you get a strike. Being down 1.
McBride will hit one hard on the ground to third. It's going to kick away and it's propelling into left field. Thought maybe there was a chance back at third, but good base running by Landry. He never stopped and makes it all the way to third base.
Now batting, number 3, Brandon Sweeney.
Hard hit right at Roa.
Favorite team, Philadelphia Phillies.
Thought on the carpet maybe there was going to be a chance to get 2. The one thing he told me, though, in his bio is that he really enjoys a situational batting practice drill. Well, here he comes up, runners at first and third, nobody out. It kind of feeds into a potential situational drill, depending on whether or not McBride wants to run or whether he's going to try and lift to get a sac fly or just do some damage.
And again, not probably in this game, but this is, for me, in West Coast style, this is when I love laying that bunt down, safety squeeze, move the runner to second.
We just talked about how it's been a little bit unique at third base. And Roa's fairly deep. Well, Cabrera's looking at his arm and his elbow.
His left one, no?
Yeah, his non-throwing arm. Whatever it is, seems to be okay.
He does not look like his dad at all, does he?
No, not at all. Saw his dad get a couple of hits this year in a game at Coors Field. Always fun to see those guys get hits adding on to 3,000. I was there when Biggio got 3,000 in Houston. And you just realize there aren't many guys in the game that get to 3,000 hits. What a rare number that is. And then to keep piling on, because every time you get a hit after 3,000, you're probably passing one of the greats in baseball.
Or inching closer, yeah.
Yeah, catching somebody or passing somebody.
That's like how hard 300 wins is now.
That's almost impossible. Heard the Cabrera passed Tony Gwynn, Robin Yount, and Yount got to the big leagues early with Milwaukee, and Tony Gwynn, all he did was hit whenever he got to the big leagues.
Ball, 1 strike.
McBride has not been off and running, so this has just been a battle here. 1 ball, 1 strike to Sweeney. Fouled right back to the screen.
Back to that situational hitting. Didn't look like he tried to do too much there.
Yeah, it's trying to look like he was poking it to right field. Maybe just get that run home, if nothing else, to let this West team at least tie up the game and get nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th. I thought that one was going to the backstop. McCrory behind the plate. Couldn't get it cleanly. It might have got our umpire, too. Dead and right at the dish.
If I'm pitching, it doesn't matter. Just keep it right in front.
Doesn't matter how it stopped, just that it did.
You know, games like this, we also need to point out the challenge of some of these catchers and pitchers aren't familiar with each other. You know, they're throwing and catching each other for the first time.
No, it's a great point. You're kind of learning on the fly. You see it at any level in an all-star game. To me, as a catcher, that would be an uncomfortable feeling because when you're working with the same pitchers every year, you trust yourself in getting to know your pitchers, their strengths, their weaknesses, how to communicate with them non-verbally, whatever it is. And you're doing it on the fly here. Like he kind of aimed that breaking ball a bit. It bounced, and we can have a play at the plate.
Got him.
Out at the plate. How about the tag put right down on Bowen Landry by Cabrera?
Wow.
He took his helmet off his head. Let's see this one again. Ooh. Tagged him right in the neck. That was close. Did he get in there with the hand?
I think he got in there with the hand.
I mean, to get it out here, you almost have to tag the hand and not the shoulder. But that was an out at the plate. Wasn't the perfect ricochet, but Cabrera gave him credit for getting down there, and he put that tag down, hoping to get a body part, and he did.
Great job covering the plate.
Would have been the tying run scoring. I think that's a swing, and it is. Sweeney can't believe it, but that's a strikeout. So in a matter of a couple of seconds, we had an out at the plate and a strikeout. 2 gone.
Yep, our script just flipped.
Sure did. How many times do you see a pitcher, though, going to cover the plate, and whether he gets there a second late or he gets there and he's looking at the runner, but he doesn't catch it cleanly and get that tag down?
Get the tag down, and he did a great job. Slammed it right down like a first baseman needs to do.
Jacob Miller from Temecula, California, going to wear that one. He's going to take his base.
What kind of?
Hey, time now for our Oakley Player Spotlight. Oakley changed the game. Let's check in with Cameron.
I'm here with Bowen Landry on the west, baseman and right-hand pitcher from Temecula, California. So you have had a great year. You had a little incident in March. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so we were in a Louisiana tournament, and the second batter of the game, I broke my thumb. And we ended up, and then I closed the tournament when I pitched with a broken thumb. I couldn't even close the glove. Yeah, it hurt.
How did you do that?
I have no idea.
And when did you come back, and what happened in that game?
My first game back, I hit 2 home runs.
You came back like you never left. And so there's a handful of Banditos teammates between the East and West. And y'all have had a lot of success this summer. Tell me about that.
Well, we won the PG World Series, and then we went to Futures. We didn't win that, but when we went to the national championship, we won that back-to-back.
So you know what it takes to win. Well, good luck, and thank you very much. Back to you guys.
I thought he was safe. Ask him. I want to hear if he thought he was safe at the plate.
All right.
All out.
Y'all heard that?
We did not hear it.
Oh, say that one more time, Bowen. Did you think you were safe at the plate?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought he was going to say. It took a little longer. Mike going to get his answer.
Close?
And I agree with him.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. got to find out right from the horse's mouth. Cabrera kind of eephus pitched that one in there. We get 2 stolen bases on that pitch. We might be at that magic number.
Gotta be, if not real close.
But what Aguiar can do here is, with a base hit, put the West team back in front.
Ooh.
Boy, healthy rip. He
No.
just about fell over.
Like Worth used to do.
Let's see this hack again. This was 2 for the price of 1.
He got his money worth for sure.
I mean, I don't know if his cleat caught or that foot didn't quite pivot on the carpet, but that was a healthy swing. You and I take that swing now, we'd be feeling it for about a week.
My hammy already is.
Ground ball to third. There was a little bit of a slip. It's going to take a strong throw and a scoop, and it didn't take place. And a pair of runs are going to score, and the West team is back in front. I thought maybe Johnson was going to be able to scoop that at first, but once it got by him on the throw from Roa.
Now back.
Perfect 4th inning on the mound, batting for the 2nd time, struck out when he batted in the 2nd.
Back and forth battle.
On the side.
Team scoring multiple runs now in these innings. Kid out of Arizona waiting. He's going to hit a flare that is fair. And a chance for another run to come across. Heenan with the single. Plays Aguiar, and it's a 3-run inning for the West.
Now batting, Caden Kennedy.
Just kind of fought that one off a bit.
Yeah, it looked like he almost got jammed. Good piece. Little up.
Kennedy's going to take. That throw hit Heenan, propels away. He just about blew a tire between 2nd and 3rd, but he'll make it. He almost didn't get to second base, I don't think. So now Heenan all the way to 3rd. Pitch in there for a strike.
25th pitch right there. Gilmer, Texas. You've spent some time in Texas.
I have.
Where's Gilmer, Texas? Are you going to cheat?
Gonna cheat. Yeah, it's East Texas. That's what I thought. A little bit remote once you get out there towards Tyler and Longview. Kind of bend your way over towards Shreveport when you cross the border.
Yep.
Our Razorbacks sneak a few players out of East Texas every year. That's going to be a wave and a miss. It's going to need to result in a throw to first to complete the K, and that'll be the case. Kennedy down to win the inning. It was a strange frame. 3-run score on 1 single. West back in front. Hey, we head in. he was at the plate when the caught stealing at the plate took place to end the 5th. So he's back out there with a fresh count. Spray's father, Jason, played football at Middle Tennessee and strength and conditioning coach in the football ranks. So as Jason said, if you can't tell, my dad likes to lift. Now, Mom has said if the baseball thing doesn't work out, he could be a fashion model. So he's intrigued by being a model. He's going to chop one to third, and that is going to result in a free base. And I think you're right, Micah. Your evaluation on that left side of the diamond on some of those late bounces has been spot on.
Something. I mean, again, back with the slide.
Leyland Henry just trying to fight this one off. Kind of picked up speed, didn't it?
Did, but he does probably need to step back on that one. He sees the high hop, read it, step back. Still got time to make the throw.
I think that's a good evaluation. Brings up Ramon Roa, who had some trouble at third base last inning, so he has a chance to do some damage with the bat.
Think we should tell the 12 of you guys tonight? Hit it to third?
Might not be a bad thought process.
Of course, they're going to be. Your observation's hitting the towers over here. So.
Yeah, they're going to be trying to take out some cars, some trees. Florida native for Roa. Kenny walked way back in the third, batting for the second time here in the 6th for a 14-player lineup. Although I do think Bowen Landry is out of the game right now. So, fight our way towards the later innings. East trying to find some late runs against Gomez.
Another thing with Gomez to point out, he's the four-hole guy. So you got a power guy.
Spray Jr. with that lead at first. Base running might be neutralized a bit when these kids get a little bit older and they go to the bigger fields and the 90-foot bases. Right now, as we pointed out before, if you can pick the right time to run, you get that initial break, it's really tough to throw base stealers out.
Which right here, 2-1 is a fastball count. So got there anyway.
Indeed he did. Advancement to second by Spray Jr.
Yeah, I think just overall with a lot of these pitchers are just amped up. You know, trying to throw it 100.
Softly fouled back and out of play. Over into the seats.
Watch out.
I wouldn't want to be behind the plate today. Probably ever in your Georgia heat, but for a mid-afternoon game here at East Cobb.
Yeah, even outside. Sorry, Cameron. Although my shirt finally did dry.
Yeah, it has. It is over a couple of hours. The perspiration has moved away. Fastball's down. That's ball 4. So an error and a walk. Put a couple of runners on for the
Now
East and for an East team. Had an uncle, Dominic Brown, that played with the Philadelphia Phillies as an outfielder.
Is that right? Can I see 90 pounds? He weighs 90 pounds?
Yeah, there's some projectable growth there for Traveris.
Put it in play. Let's see you run.
Takes a pitch for a strike.
Good pitch.
Says his father is the man who really inspires him. He says he wants to be in a position one day where he can tell his dad, hey, just rest today. I've got you. Says his dad does everything for him. Well, Cabrera gets a base hit into left field. They will hold the runner at third, going station to station. 3 straight base runners have reached to begin the 6th.
Now batting number 11, right fielder, Jesse Soberall Jr.
Yeah, he was disappointed Roa was in front of him. He wanted to turn and go. Don't you always say when 12, 13, and 14 get on base to turn the lineup over, you're in a pretty good spot?
That's right.
The bottom 3 hitters get on base. That one to the backstop, and no out here. Spray Jr. in diving. It is a 1-run game.
That backstop's taking a beating today.
It has. And, you know, Gomez doesn't have the margin of error now that he did when he began this inning. You want to get some outs, but if you trade outs for runs, you're going to see this lead slip away. Facing Jesse Soberall Jr., who struck out both times in. PG 11U Offensive Player of the Year at our banquet last night. Well, he's got a chance to do some damage here. Goes by the nickname Godzilla as he hacks one back to the screen.
Another healthy act.
1-2.
Even though he's in the Bronx, he'd like to play at LSU, Vandy, Notre Dame, maybe. Fouls one straight back. Won that 11U National World Series with the Banditos that we heard one of his teammates talking about earlier.
I really like his setup. I'm telling you, quiet at the plate.
He has won the MVP in perfect game 8 different tournaments.
Yeah.
And he's 11 years old.
Is that a record?
Tell you what, you wonder how many he might be able to get before he's 17, 18.
30? As many bags as today?
He's one of those kids that, you know, you want to root for him, too. He mentions in his bio the challenge that he's had to overcome. He said growing up in the Bronx with limited resources and income, able to overcome it by sticking together as a family, outworking everybody. I'm sure that's a philosophy that he takes to the field.
There it is.
Just laces one to left, a diving catch attempt, but it wasn't made. Roa got locked up, and he is still going to score after all that.
Wow.
A ringing single by Soberall. I guess you give him an RBI. Roa didn't know what to do. Score, tag, and then when he was coming down the line, he had to hustle to get in there.
Looked like he almost had it and rolled over it.
Number 4,
I thought so too. I thought maybe he didn't have it initially, but then you could see the ball kind of squirt away from him. He had a chance to throw at a runner at the plate.
Good recovery, yeah.
Albury goes to third, and there's still nobody out. This is Tyler Early. Fouls one back.
The danger there, though, is if he does miss it and it's going to the fence.
I think that ball was hit so hard, you almost feel like you might as well lay out and see if you can get glove on it.
Second nature.
It's been an error, a walk, a single, and a single for the East team. Fake throw down to second base. Soberall went skidding into second with the base, taking away the possibility of a force or a double play.
Still no outs.
It was that ground ball to third that started this inning. Could have been an easy out, right? And then if the play wasn't made, and then Gomez dealing with base runners and things have snowballed a bit on him.
I guess we can't criticize the grounds crew.
I think the one thing, though, as a pitcher, you start complaining, well, you know, this ball could have been caught, this play could have been made, I walked a guy. And just about the time you do that, someone unloads and launches one out of here and scores 3. and then it takes away your argument, per se, or at least the beginning of one.
Yep. Still got to make pitches.
23rd pitch of his inning on the way. Hit hard and into right center, and it's going to go all the way to the fence. Tyler Early is going to cruise to second base. 2-run score. And the East team is looking for a big inning here in the 6th.
That was a starting pitcher.
Number 13, Christopher Cabrera.
A player of the year. Featured him in the open. Able to get this so hard hit, it skipped by second. Played 2 more runs. 4 have scored this inning.
Another one just missed. He almost had that.
That's right.
Yeah.
11-9 game. Early's going to advance to third. And Cabrera, we just saw him on the mound. Now he's back in the box. It's grounded out twice today. Last time up, rolled to short.
You know, back talking about the two-way thing. He could feel a lot better after his last inning if he does something here.
It is the benefit. You know, you talk about succeeding at the plate and on the mound. But maybe if there's one area of your game that's not working that day, you can pick yourself up, so to speak.
I think it was against
Another wild pitch. Early will trot around to score the 5th run of the game of this inning.
I believe it was the Astros. One of my only CG shutouts. But I didn't get a hit, and I was ticked off.
You wanted the CG shutout and a couple of hits.
Absolutely, at least one. Sneak one out. Good pitch.
Strike called to Cabrera.
3-1.
12-9. East in front of West. Hit out into left center. It's going to drop for a base hit. Cabrera with a big turn. He's not going to stop. He's going to go for 2. How about a hustle double? I tell you what can't happen there is with outfielders playing that deep to give up a hustle double.
Can't.
If you're keeping the ball in front of you.
And strong. Look at a belly flop there, no?
Was, but watch. Christopher, he never hesitated. He took a wide turn. So when that ball bounces, if you're playing deep, you've got to have that. Everybody plays in front of you there. And there was a bit of a skid into second base, but happy to get that double.
Mm-hmm.
The whole point of playing deep is so that that extra base doesn't
come straight in. It's, I mean, and then older they get, they'll play at the plate you would want.
Nope, you'd let him just tag you out. No need to go in there diving.
Or even second base.
Junior Cordero, the batter. And that is a mile-high pop-up. First base side, and how about that? One pitch, one out. That was a rather close play back at second.
Now batting number 88.
Pretty big swing.
Landon Hollywood Davis.
Jacob Miller over there at first doesn't have a lot of foul territory to contend with, and that was up there a long time in the air. McBride gets the out, and it brings up Landon Davis. Couple of singles, couple of runs scored. Can he have a 3-hit game?
He's got the flow for it, remember?
Yes, he does. You get a 3-hit all-star game. When you're batting 14 players, you've earned it. You've earned a big afternoon.
And the wide receiver number, 88.
One out here in the 6th. 5 runs have scored. Soft little pop-up. If it's caught quickly, maybe a chance for a double play. That's another effort at first by Miller. Cabrera had to retreat to second. Now 2 outs. Logan Marietta has walked twice and scored twice. Will back.
Nice job coming in so far.
Have we seen the curve yet?
Don't need to.
Yeah, why not?
Although, now would be a good time for it.
I mean, you're right. He's been able to get a couple of outs quickly. And since both were pop-ups, Cabrera has not been able to advance. As is, the West is going to have some work to do after giving up 5 this inning. McBride's job is to try and make sure the deficit is no more than 3. Pitches down, throw to third is in time. How about the effort? And there was a fist pump from Aguiar behind the plate as he gunned down Cabrera. When you come on. The Perfect Game Select Festival is brought to you by Perfect Game and by Loco Cookers, innovative outdoor cooking products built for the backyard. And by Diamond Cast Plus. Get more hits with Diamond Cast Plus.
Bottom of the 6, scores 12-9.
Brian Johnson Jr. is on to pitch. I feel like we've said the same thing over the last couple of half innings. He comes on with the lead, a chance to shorten the game. While we have a chance, let's take a look at our Dick's players of the game. Inning. J.R. Waddell, first man in, leading off this inning from Shreveport, Louisiana, Calvary Baptist High School. Dad played baseball at Penn State. Uncle Troy was drafted by the Rangers. His self-scouting report says gritty shortstop with range. Well, right now he's trying to get on base. Big hack, and he fouls one back.
That was a big hack for a little guy. What do you think, 80? Oh, he's 90 pounds too.
Another bandito. Calvary Baptist has produced a few baseball players in its day. There's that rock, there's that windup, there's the wave and a miss. He didn't try and do too much with that pitch.
Go right back to it. Oh, he called it. Elevate again.
Didn't get to chase.
So I teach our guys, just go middle, off the mask. If you try to go inside out too much, they're not going to offer.
You just want it up. You
Just
don't care
up
where.
middle.
Yep.
Yep.
Softly fouled away by Waddell.
And now you want to go best pitch. You don't want to go 3-2.
2-2.
West team down 3, batting in the 6th of a 7-inning game. I think that's a swing.
I agree. Sam says no at first base.
I guess he did. It's that slow swing that's hard to check.
Tell me the other day, if he sees the cap of the bat is when he calls it.
That's ball 4. Well, Johnson Jr. really wanted to get that
Now
first out of the inning.
catcher,
Instead,
number 10, Boston
JR
Targac.
with the walk, and it turns this lineup over for Boston Targac. Oh boy. To the backstop easily and a free base.
Not what we saw in warm-ups.
That was not close. Did he get the strike? He did over the inside corner.
He's got some heavy run.
Trying to work with a little bit of pace here. Roller to third. Play's going to be made at first. Throw back to third. In time, double play.
He did a good job holding him there at second before he made.
Zaylen Johnson at third base. Right there, he got him to take that step
Now
back.
batting number 17, pitcher of the year,
Just enough.
Christian Choe.
How about your shortstop then curling behind to take that throw at third base?
Alert, I like it.
So the leadoff walk is erased. Here's Christian Choe batting with the bases empty. 2 gone. I'm with you. I think there's a lot to like about Johnson Jr. on the mound.
He's got that heavy run.
Spun that one a little bit up and out.
Got under it a little.
Choe has struck out twice. He'd love to change that here in his third at bat, maybe his last at bat. Leyland Henry on deck. He'd love a chance to bat this inning. He hit a bullet for a single his last time in.
Oh.
Choe lifts one to right. And place made. Nice job by Albury Jr. Call for that baseball. A leadoff walk, but only 3 batters hit. On we go to the 7th. McBride came on, had to get the final 2 outs last inning and did so. And then on the first pitch here, gives up a base hit to the baby bull, Logan Marichal. So the East team up 3, looking for some insurance in the 7th inning.
Brian Johnson Jr.
Hot shot right over his head, just up the middle.
That's
Nice.
true.
Ooh, get out the way.
Stick his glove up or duck.
Watch your teeth. That's what we say.
Protect your face. Brian Johnson Jr., we just saw him on the mound last inning. And now he's batting for the 3rd time. He's another guy who's got a chance for a 3-hit game. So he's 2 for 2, 2 singles, 2 runs scored, an RBI, 2 stolen bases, and a scoreless inning on the mound, all in a day's work.
I tell you, I like this kid. Not just because he's in the 6-foot club with me, but
it's almost like, and I'm not criticizing today's player at any level, there is a let the kids play mentality. There's an enthusiasm and joy, and I like seeing smiles and happiness too. But what stands out now is the kid who's calm and collected, who just goes about his business.
nailed it. You nailed it. Because the ones that have gotten in trouble today, been a little bit too much. Just a little bit too much. And I get it. I mean, this game, this stage, it's an honor for all of them to be here. They deserve to be here.
Is he going to get a 3rd hit? No! Play made at 3rd base.
Almost got him at first.
Choe was able to get back there and make that catch. And the ball gets away, which will provide a free base for Marichal.
Now batting
Trying to
number
get that double
16,
play back at
the
first.
Z-Man, Leyland Johnson.
Let's see this one again. A lot going on in this play. Well, the runner was going. That's why we had to throw back to first.
Stay on the bag.
He ended up where a shortstop might normally be playing because the shortstop was going over to cover.
At shortstop, yep.
Dang, one of the young men I've enjoyed watching is Leyland Johnson. I know he struck out in his last at-bat, drove in a run with a single earlier. I think he has kind of the swagger of somebody with a talent level that we will be talking about for a long time.
What a cool name. Again, Leyland. I think they call him Z. Is that his
They
nickname?
do.
Yeah.
Gotta shorten that one up a little bit.
Yeah.
Got himself a base hit. Does he have an RBI? He will not. Good throw indeed. Coming in from center, Kennedy.
Now batting number 8, Baker.
Speaking of, we've talked a lot about nicknames. Isn't that funny in baseball specific, the nickname game?
It's a different tier than the footballs and the basketballs.
different.
It has to be the amount of time you guys spend around each other in the dugouts and the clubhouses and the buses and the planes.
Gets boring calling anybody first name.
You got to do something when you're making fun of your teammates.
I remember Xavier Nadia. We just called him X.
X-Man.
X-Man. He's my guy.
Straight from the college ranks to the majors, right?
One of few.
Bob Horner, Xavier Nady.
Started with the Reds. Arizona State, drawing a blank. Would have been like 08, 09, maybe 9, 10. It'll come to me.
Should come to me. This is Jimenez. Lifted to left. Should provide a run. Oh, it's going to do more than that. Henry unable to make the catch. We're going to have a play at third, and out of that, the East team adds to its lead.
He's drifting. Got to go straight back to it. Then, like we talked about earlier, work back in.
Now batting for the East, number 7, Noah Osterman.
I'm not even quite sure how to score this one, but Henry couldn't get back there and make that play.
I don't think it hit gloves. Got to be a hit.
So now the infield forced to come in. It is a 13-9 game. And Osterman, the batter. Osterman is singled. We've seen him on the mound be extremely effective today. Jim Abbott, Dave Winfield. Garrett Crochet, Darren Dreifert. A few others.
Oh, Mike Leake. That's what I'm thinking.
Uh-oh, how about a steal of home? Not in time. We're going to get an out at the plate. We've had a couple of big plays at the plate.
That one wasn't quite as close as some of those.
It was not. I just think sometimes the element of surprise might lend itself to a rushed throw.
I like that. I do like that.
So Zaylin Johnson cut down. 2 outs in the inning.
So if Mike Leake isn't listed on it, it's probably because he played in the Arizona Fall League first.
Might have been. He was, that's a wave and a miss by Osterman to end the inning. But East team able to get an insurance run, so it's a 4-run deficit for the West squad. Going to the bottom of the 7th. Well, there's your total. We've had some big innings towards the later innings. 3 runs for the East in the 5th, 5 more in the 6th. They get an insurance run in the 7th. So the West squad has some work to do.
The score at the bottom of the
9 runs on 4 hits for the West. Keep in mind,
East 13,
they have the only home
West
run in the game
9.
as the West. Kingston George, who's due up this inning. Ramon Roa is on to pitch. Seen Roa at third. We've seen him in the box. Now we'll see him work with a 4-run advantage. Got some power coming up this inning. Henry, Gomez, and George. He's a sandwich away from getting to that 200 plateau as Roa.
Those cookies, Mom's cookies were.
Size and some strength. We'll see how he closes this game. Not a save situation, but in essence, trying to finish things off. Ryan Klesko's team trying to take down Flash Gordon's squad. Tomorrow, we have the 12U Select Festival. Mike and I will be back here on PerfectGame.tv. That game will begin at 1 o'clock Eastern. And that'll be a 9-inning game rather than a 7-inning game. I believe we have bigger and deeper rosters for the 12Us than we do for the 11.
Big Pookie, Leyland, Henry.
Kind of makes sense.
More pitchers means more innings. Well, Leyland Henry hit an absolute rocket for a base hit back in the 4th inning. Just blistered one to left. And Roa's first pitch carries off the plate.
Came out pretty good.
Stands with those feet close together, leans over that glove, and then uncoils. Did he get a strike? He did.
I like here, you can see how he's breathing. Encourage our pitchers, they're coming set to breathe. Release tension. This is power on power. Talking to Henry before the game, he's pretty quiet-spoken, big dude. Nice kid.
You might be just an intimidating guy. Maybe that's it.
Come on. Possibly. And it was early.
It was early, sure.
They were still waking up. I think I was 2 coffees in, so I was awake.
I like these Houston kids. He's the young man that said his mom's cooking is top shelf. He's an Ellie De La Cruz fan, and he's going to take ball 4. So every journey begins with a single step, and a leadoff walk
Now batting number 23.
provides the West a little bit of hope in the bottom of the 7th.
That's one of my cardinal rules, cardinal sins. Just lead off walk with the lead. Come on.
Yeah, that really kind of just sets the table. And this is Gomez, who flew out to right us last time in. Takes strike 1.
Good breaking ball.
West got a run without a hit in the first. They scored 3 runs on 1 single in the second. Got the 2-run homer from George in the 4th. And then they had that crazy 5th where they scored 3 runs on 1 single. Some walks, some errors, a hit batter mixed in. Wave and a miss by Gomez.
Now batting number 24.
They get that big first out here in the 7th inning. See it again.
That is a great breaking ball. He threw 2 on that series. What I didn't like there is the standing up catchers with Davis standing up there when he was trying to elevate. Stay down.
A little different target maybe to look for.
Throws the pitcher off.
I could see that. George, who homered earlier in the box. Roa, after that leadoff walk, got a strikeout, but then still needs 2 more outs to finish this one off. Big wave and a miss by George, who struck out in the first, had that line drive homer over the scoreboard in the 4th. I'm a little bit surprised. It's the only home run we've seen today.
I'm shocked. After what we saw in BP in the home run derby, maybe the pitching's been effectively wild.
I think you're onto something there. I think there's been an element of that.
And they found out some mojo was going on at third.
Time called. Roa steps off.
One strike. Here we go.
Good pitch on the corner. Keeps losing that hat. He's been pumping in some strikes.
2-2.
One on, one out. Boy, threw that breaking ball, and George way out front with a wave and a miss. Strikeout number 2.
Pay attention to how high he gets his knee up.
Now batting Salvador, Luke Garcia.
It's a helpless feeling as a hitter when you're starting that swing and you're like, oh no.
But again, how smooth he is for a big guy.
He is smooth.
Yep, go.
Salvador, Luke Garcia, the last chance for the West. Leadoff walk, but back-to-back Ks. Ramon Roa trying to shut the door, and that soft little pop-up is down the line and foul. Great pursuit by McCrory. He was trying to end the game. Uh-oh. We're about ready for a water shower here, and that might actually feel good today.
Can we run down there and get in?
That might be one of the few times you're like, bring it on. Here I am. Dump it on top of me.
Definitely. Cameron needs to get in it.
Ground ball to short. A flip to second, and that will do it. The West team is taken down by the East. Celebrations here at East Cobb. The East wins the 11U Perfect Game Select Festival.
Final score, ladies and
Big
gentlemen.
innings, big play
East
out of the
13,
East.
West 9.
And Roa shuts the door.
I wouldn't say this cleanest game, but back and forth the whole game.
What the East team did was do some damage late. They got the 3 runs in the 5th, the 5 runs in the 6th, and then made those stand up.
Yeah, you said 8 within an inning and a third.
Yeah, because those 5 runs in the 6th scored before there was an out. Coming off that 3-run 5th inning. Top 28 11U players in the country shaking hands here after 7 hard-fought innings today. West team had the lone home run from Kingston George, but the East puts 13 runs on the board. There's Coach Klesko, Coach Flash Gordon, Lloyd Thompson, Kyle Tucker, others, Rico Billups, Kyle Blum, our coaching staffs today. We'll do it again tomorrow with the 12U Select Festival at 1 o'clock Eastern time here from Marietta, Georgia. Going to hear from one of our players of the game as well. All things considered, though, I think the one thing, Micah, we're always impressed with is just getting the number of different pitchers that we're able to see. And for some, it may not be their day, but my goodness, for those that it is, it's fun to watch.
It is, and that's what's most important, these games. Get everybody in there, let them play, showcase what they got. The challenge is the coaches, if they do get in trouble, you know, you got to be ready to have somebody go a little bit extra, and we saw that today.
Players lining up to their post-game recognition.
11U Perfect Game Select Festival MVP. Your MVP, player of the game, from the East Squad, Brian Johnson Jr.
He had a couple of base hits. He was good on the mound. Let's go downstairs and hear from him. He's standing by with Cameron.
All right, Brian, you went 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and 1 scoreless inning pitched. Tell me the experience, what it's like playing with the best of the best in the country.
Well, I think it was really a challenge for me because, you know, last year I played no perfect game. You know, I'm just getting acclimated to, you know, like how the pitching is like 75 miles an hour and hitting is much better, and I got to stand up in pitching and hitting. So I think it was really a good experience for me, you know.
What would you like to say to your family out there?
I'd just like to thank all of them for supporting me and getting me to this point, and hopefully I can get farther.
Tell me, how are you going to celebrate?
Probably going to go to Chick-fil-A.
What's your order?
Number 1.
Any specifics?
No.
Love it. Congratulations. Back to you guys.
Micah, he's a well-spoken young man just talking about getting used to playing at a higher level. I would say he's well on his way.